Hello, I'm Rodney Figueroa, Superintendent of Schools in Monroe School District. I'm standing outside the front entrance to the Monroe High School. We do have a referendum on the ballot on November 8th for a new high school on a new site. This video is intended to give you some information about our current site so that people that are unable to come and do a tour will have an opportunity to see some of the challenges we have educating our kids in the 21st century here in Monroe. This was the first year that I was in the community, so the first year I got to enjoy Cheese Days. The community pride was obvious. The level of engagement for our staff and students as we participated in this event was amazing. And the level of support that the community seems to have for their younger generations and the younger generations to come that are going to lead our communities is outstanding. So I hope you enjoy this video, and if you have questions that you'll reach out to us and send those questions in, and we'll do our best to answer them.
One of the things you'll notice in the hallways at Monroe High School is we have 10 to 11, maybe 12 large circular barn fans, and we have over 40 dehumidifiers in classrooms. And the reason for that is we need to keep air moving in the building, and we need to take water out of the air because the circulation and the air movement throughout the building is just not good. And we are working the hardest we can to make sure that that stagnant air doesn't become mold. That's our biggest worry. When it gets really, really hot and humid, you can feel the floors sweat up. There's water on the floors. It just feels really wet in this building. And I know that happens in a lot of old spaces, but this one especially, there's just a lot of water in the air. The custodians go around and empty those dehumidifiers twice a day. They run 24 hours a day. They estimate between 80 to 100 gallons of water is taken out of those dehumidifiers out of the air in our hallways in our building every single day. One of the major challenges we have at Monroe High School is water. And one of those challenges is water running right down the foundation of our building, and it ends up in our basement in the mechanical room that you're going to see in a minute here. Also, what you're going to see is where the water is run down the walls, where it sometimes comes up out of the floor when we have the heavy rain. And in this building, when they built this way back in 1958, they had steam tunnels that carried the mechanicals, which was the pipes and the utilities and those kind of things. Now those steam tunnels are all around this building underneath it, and they fill up with water now too, and that water sits there, and you can imagine what that does to the smell in the building and just the building itself. So you're going to see all of that.
What I'm showing you here are the boilers. We have 3 of them. All these boilers are over 20 years old, and the new ones are about a quarter of the size and are twice as efficient as what these are. These are not very efficient. And what we have here, this used to be the old coal room when that school was first built. And as you can see, we have leaking from the walls when we get heavy rains. It leaks through the walls here, and on the other section I'll show you where it leaks up through the floor. And this is the chimney, the original chimney from when they burned coal. As you can see, the trapdoor, we have a lot of water infiltration through here. And when we have heavy rains, it leaks very severely through the wall here. As you can see the crack.
This area is our locker room and gymnasium area. And I'm standing in front of the stairway that goes down to the locker rooms. The locker rooms for both Phi-Ed and athletics are not handicap accessible and are both in the basement. Obviously there's some issues with ventilation and circulation in those areas, as well as just keeping those areas sanitary and clean.
So this is the boys' shower in the locker room, and many of you may remember this, but shower facilities and modern facilities have changed over the years. Our students are now expecting a little bit more privacy, a little more comfortable facility to be able to take a shower in, and you don't find showers that are communal like this much anymore. So you'll find individual stalls in the showers where they can feel more comfortable and take showers. Because of not having that, a lot of our students choose not to take showers, which we encourage them to do so, but again, this is a facility we have for them. We're currently in our M room, which is where we have all the students eat every day. It's our commons area, it's our lobby for games and activities that we have, plays, musicals, that kind of thing. One of the things to point out in this room is it's fairly small for the amount of kids that we have. in the high school. We have 250 roughly students per lunch. We have to have 3 lunches because that's all the students that we can fit in here. The actual kitchen area itself is very small, very outdated. They don't really have room to grow. So they do an amazing job in putting out good food for all those students. Another thing to mention is around all the poles, if you're able to see the floor, if you're ever in here, the floor is sinking away from the poles. You can see the indentation, and you can also see the indentation where the floor is sinking away a little bit from where they added on this area. I believe that was in 99 or 2000. So you'll see that, and it's pretty pronounced. A lot of times you probably walk over it, don't even notice it, but I encourage you, next time you're in the building, to look at that, and you'll notice it pretty quickly. We are currently in one of our science rooms in the high school, and one of the major problems that we have here is the foundation is settling, and some of the pictures we're going to show you are pretty disturbing because the floor is actually an inch or so below the outer edge of the foundation, and it's just sinking for whatever reason. Also, we're going to show you pictures of the greenhouse that is off of our ag room that is kind of sliding away. That's my best way to describe it, sliding away from the building. Every year, the corner of the greenhouse is spreading further and further apart, so you'll be able to visibly see that as well. We're currently in our ag room, and one of the things I want to point out with this room is that it really is a pretty small space. We offer several different ag related classes out of this area. There just isn't a whole lot of room to work for them. We do have a headroom and a greenhouse there, and they do quite a lot of really, really good things, but we could use so much more space. And I could generalize that to all of our classrooms in the high school. And I realized that in the past this high school was bigger, but education has changed. We really are asking our instructors to develop lessons and activities that get our students up and moving, working together, working in groups and doing team things. And the classrooms aren't conducive to that. We still have room for desk and rows like we've had for the last 30 or 40 years or even longer. So we really need more space to get students up and moving and working together.
As you've seen throughout the video, we have a number of areas of concerns in our high school. When you start addressing large mechanical systems like heating and air conditioning, electrical, plumbing systems, and updating them to the current standards of today, the costs start to rise really quickly. That's not to mention some of the foundation issues, the water issues, the humidity issues that we're having inside of our buildings, which you can try and mitigate, but you're never sure if they're truly going to be fixed and sound for the future to come. Add to that the fact that you have non-ADA locker rooms, you have bleacher areas that are not handicap accessible. There's a lot of things in this area that need to be addressed, and the costs of those were looked at, and the board decided that putting those kinds of funds into this facility to buy a few more years was not a good use of taxpayers' dollars, that the best use of taxpayers' dollars was to look at a new high school on a new site so that we can have a solid building to build our future off of.